All right, so my name is Logan Alcaraz. My project is Quick Banking, and I'm going to give you a little demo of what I've been working on. So I have two classes. One is going to be the customer class, one's going to be the employee class. Employee is going to inherit from customer. Customer is essentially just the basic user. It's going to be just a normal customer. Employee is going to be somebody that works there, and they're going to have the benefit of having extra money, this uh, thousandth of a penny for every dollar that they add. So in the customer class, you can see that they have a username, a password, and a balance, which each have a get and set function. And every user is going to have two functions. The first one's going to be the update balance. But to be able to update the balance for this one and employee, since they're different, I needed to make it virtual so that way we could override it in the employee, which you'll see in a second. But this one for the withdrawal, I didn't have to just because withdrawal will be the same for both. Here you can see I override this here, and I basically just do a little bit of logic to show you that there's a thousandth of a penny for every dollar. So now we're going to move on to the actual functionality. So to start, I created a list of customers. That's basically going to hold all the customers that we create. And I created an instance of the customer, and I just set it to null. You'll see here soon why. It basically just checks to see if anybody is logged in or not. So the first thing we have is add customer. It's going to read the strings, the username and the password strings, to see if that customer already exists and the type that we need. So if the user exists in this in the list already, then we just let them know that the user already exists. If they don't exist, then we're going to create a new one based on the type. So if the type was personal or if the type was an employee. And then we put that inside the user list, which is able to hold both of them since it inherits from a customer. And then we basically just give them a message saying that it was successful and we clear this out. I cleared it out on every function so that way we can like remove clutter. I just didn't want a bunch of stuff to be popped up on there. So the next thing is going to be login. We're going to read the username and the password, and we're going to go through the customer list and check if that user exists. If the user does exist, we're going to tell them that it was successful, and we're going to update the welcome banner and the balance that it shows. If it doesn't, we just tell them invalid credential and we clear it out. So now there's going to be three different functions, deposit, withdraw, and transfer. Transfer is a little more complicated, but we'll get there in a second. So first we check to see if customer is null, the current customer, because if you're not logged in, then you shouldn't be able to use any of these functions. But once it is checked, we have to do another error check to see if what was entered is a float and it doesn't have alpha in it. So once it is, we update the banner, or we update the balance in the actual object, and then we update the balance in the GUI, and then we let them know it's successful. If not, we tell them to enter an actual value, a numerical value, and we reset the text. Withdrawal is pretty much the same thing, except just removing money. So it's going to check to see if somebody's logged in. It's going to check to see if the value that was entered is actually a float. There's one more check here, though. We have to check and see if you have the amount of funds to actually be able to do that. And if you do, it just the same thing, it removes the money, it updates the balance, and then it tells you it was successful, and then it clears it out. Now, transfer gets a little bit more complicated because you have to figure out if the user that they're sending to already exists. Because if the user doesn't exist, you can't really send it to somebody that doesn't exist. So first it checks the value to see if it's a float, and then if you have the balance, once you do have that balance, it finally goes through and checks the username to see if that user exists. And if it does, we just update both of their balances. So we remove from the person that is sending it, and we add it to the person that sent it, or that got it. And then we let them know it's successful. If the user doesn't exist, we tell them. If they don't have funds, we tell them. If they didn't enter a real value, then we tell them. And we set everything back to, we cleared out. And for logout's pretty easily. Obviously, you can't log out if you're not logged in. And then it just resets everything. So it sets it back to null, tells them they logged out, and it sets the welcome banner back to what it was before. So now I'm going to give you a little demo of it really quick. Here we go. So as you can see, it's just a GUI with it's kind of got like three separate columns. One's going to be register, one's login, and then the final one is the actions. You can see here that the amount and the customer, I had to tell them which one was which just because obviously this one's the amount, and you have to know which one is which for when it reads it. So if I log in or I create an account using my name, let's just say I'm an employee. It lets you know that it was successfully created and it clears it out. And then we'll check the login and it will let you know that it was successful. And I currently have a balance of 0. Everybody's gonna have a current balance of 0 whenever you first create an account. So we'll have to add some funds. And as you can see here, the welcome banner updates with my username. Let's say I want to add $100 and deposit that. Now you can see I get $100.10 because I'm an employee. So for every dollar I get put in my account, I get an extra 10 or thousandth of a penny or thousandth of a dollar. And now I want to show you that let's say I enter 500.88888888, whatever. Then it does not, it only shows 2 decimals. I didn't want it to show more than that because that would, obviously money is only in 2 decimals. And now the withdraw function, let's just withdraw $100 and it tells you the withdrawal was successful. My current balance is 501.49. So to test this transfer function, what we're going to do is we're going to log out and you can see that the log out works. It just changes everything back to what it was before. And I'm going to create a new account. I'm just going to use my brother's name and I'm going to make him a regular employee. So now we can log in as him and it will show you that Lowry is now logged in with a current balance of 0. Now I'm just going to deposit $100 for him. So you can see that whenever you deposit the 100, he does not get the extra 10 cents there. Now I'm going to log out. I'm going to log back into mine. All right. And it brings my current balance back up. And now here's where I transfer funds. I'm going to send another $100 to my brother. And once I do that, the transfer was successful. Our updated balance is now 401. We can log out. Now we can log back into Lowry. Once we log back in, you can see that he now has $200. So you are able to transfer funds from one place to another. Balances update. Balances are shown in terms of actual money and just a bunch of message boxes to let you know that everything actually worked. So that is my project. I hope you enjoyed it. And in the future, I hope to be making something like this on a bigger scale, maybe, having different pages and stuff like that. So thank you.